All right, hello. I am Taylor James Roth. Welcome to Meditating Session 3. How is everybody? Got about a minute and a half before I'll switch over screens to start the meditation officially. Today I'm doing something a little bit differently. I've got a channel up that I like to watch. Um, I've got some content in my ears that's on a separate channel. And then I have my broadcast here for me to reference later. It should be fun. It allows for a bit of a more dynamic, multidimensional conversation by allowing multiple streams to kind of intersect. It's something I enjoy doing. But I have done it in a limited context before live. So this should be fun to do. Anyway, sometimes especially if somebody's talking about difficult things, I'll turn on just like some music or something and mute their stream, but keep it up so I can kind of see what's going on with body language and still offer relevant entrainment frequencies. All right, so here's the meditation scene. Plan on going for about a half an hour today. So it's 15:24 now, local time, on the relevant date. And that would be 2025, November 15th, with a UTC offset of -5. All right. I noticed the microphone was a little low last time, so I've boosted it to maximum. Hopefully it's not too loud in your ears, but if it is, you can always turn the volume down within reason. So we'll break the flow if I call out relevant landmarks as I see them. Not to get too in depth, but like general things like sand or the beach. Just gonna bring the camera down just slightly. Again, the idea being I like to see my hands in this shot. It's so hard not to hum to music when I like it. If it looks like I'm straining, it's because multidimensional communication can be a little challenging to get dialed. It's a bit like multitasking. Oh wait. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, no. Ne touche pas. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I could see if comments came in. I didn't have my section up for that, so. Not that I'm expecting any. Let's be real. It's fine. I'm not concerned about it. That's not why I'm doing this. I do these primarily for me, but also for my family and friends. If you need a place to chill, just relax. Maybe you feel like you're hanging out on ship. As a QA tester, I've done my share of shipping, shipping the game. I don't know. As long as I'm entertained by my jokes, we're good, right? Hey, how's it going, Gerald? Good to see you. It's like a gym that's underwater. Thank you, Gerald. But being popular comes with its own challenges. I know upstairs I have all the authority I need in the comm room, all the attention I need, so I'm pretty good on that front. Not to argue with you. I mean, the future is not known to me. Thank you, Gerald. Have a good day. Love and blessings. Thanks for dropping in. Good in a weird way. Or weird in a good way. Something like that. So again, I have some content online playing in my ears. So I'm listening to someone who's also live streaming, and I'm watching a different live stream, but that one's not, well, it's AI generated, let's say. So like a portfolio or compilation of various uh, artists who've all joined together to showcase this. It's kind of like a dimensional DJ of sorts. Yeah, I guess it's a little bit like instructing how to ride a bike. In QA, we would call this ad hoc testing. Could also be explorative testing. Basically, I'm attempting to work with the game in ways that I haven't done before, and seeing what, if anything, breaks. What can I report to the dev team as behaving oddly? So, and the game being reality. So I'm streaming multiple different bandwidths into my personal space while holding space. But again, this is meditating session 3. We've already done session 1, which was like 1 hour just straight up silence. Session 2 was I had the 432 hertz tone playing. Maybe some of you thought I was going to do the same thing again. I didn't get any suggestions to do a specific one, so here we are. So I'm just going to keep kicking up the frequency through my suit, me, my physical avatar in this Earth experience at this time. I'm just going to keep adding more multidimensional streams and balancing those until, I reach the state where I've been attempting to be. I had quite a bit of multidimensional activity in terms of my throat chakra operational last night in dream time. So I always love those simulations with my higher selves. Going to the gym was a little bit odd today. There was some difficulty accessing the machines I usually access, even though there's a ton of other same machines available. Not to get too stressed out over that. So the primary thing I'd be looking at is essentially how would I have a multidimensional conversation in terms of being present for my audience here? What I'm listening to, being present with that as well, and being present with what's being delivered on screen for me as I attempt to kind of coordinate and harmonize those streams so that we're kind of all operating in a similar bandwidth from invitation, mind you, not force. And not really even involving the mind very much. The mind does very little in terms of how I'm using this. I'm working with it's like a way of reading information or like a language. Infrastructure analysis. So when I see a sign on the screen, like somebody's holding up a sign of some kind, I'm like, that's a sign on screen. for dealing with software and stuff. That's a sign on screen. Think of this a little bit of like, I don't know, maybe I don't know if this is a tutorial program or like what, but this is just a little bit of how I see and interpret things at my current state of consciousness. Interpreting the architecture. That's hot fire. Flagging someone down. Mountains. Walk without rhythm. I never played much Donkey Kong. You can do it. Yes, you can. You can do it. I don't know if I'd be a good cheerleader or not. Stadium. Pardon. Tennis court. College, maybe? Ski goggles. Could also be a holographic overlay. Beach vibes. That brings back Nokia memories. Particularly how I worked with music on my Nokia. I had a little Nokia phone back in the day. So we got about 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left for the meditation. I know maybe I commented a little bit much for it to be quote unquote a silent meditation, but I think it'll be fine. I'm not upset about it. Just there's a difference between like jumping into the pool gently and like cannonballing in. I'm attempting to avoid like cannonballing in, but I do want to like swim in my multidimensionality just a little bit, you know? I recognize this song. It was a whole helmet, not just an overlay. Breezy. Playing volleyball now, I guess. Or meditating. It changes quickly sometimes. Okay, we got 30 seconds left on the meditation. Then we'll transition to stream ending. I'll give you a few minutes of debrief time. Maybe up to 5. Whew, yes, surf. Go out of this dimension like I'm on a freaking sea-doo or jet ski, whatever they're called. Alright. Stream has ended for the meditation portion. Thank you for joining for that. I will sign off here, I think, at about 1600. That gives us 6 minutes to wind down and just kind of chat. What came up, if anything, for you as I was making those statements? Again, the comments that I made were based upon things that I was seeing in real time. Basically, imagine that I've got my spiritual eye, my awareness is on to where I can see something happening with my subtle form, right? So I perceive through that sense. Then through another sense, I'm perceiving somewhat at a distance another nexus or another stream, right? And the music and things interweaving with that. So that's more of the throat section or comms through the audio channels. I would argue that comms can also function in terms of sight. And then I had my broadcast interface over here where I could see people directly commenting into my stream. And I did have some interaction, which is good, in my opinion. And again, it's not about me being popular or not. That's not why I'm doing these things. I don't really care. I hope, I feel like I've trained enough that it doesn't matter if I become popular. I'm still going to be me. Just me with more resources. So ideally that's the case. Anyway, so if anything relevant came up for you, please do share. I know this might be a bit of a different way of interacting with viewers. It may not be exactly meta these days, and I don't mean meta as the company, I mean meta as in like the meta game of how the game is played. But like, I'm not into just doing the same strategy that everybody else is doing about how they interact with reality. If we play the same video game together, I may very well play it differently than you do. That doesn't make either of us better, per se, though there may be ranking that helps in determining that to some extent. But those are really just measurements of certain types of skill. It's not, you know? So why do I bring it up? I bring it up because it was a bit uncomfortable for me. It was a bit vulnerable. I am opening myself up to perceive more, and I'm doing that through streams where I don't control what's happening. I control my response to what's happening and look for intersecting transcendent nodes that symbolize harmony in the architecture. I'm looking at the walls of these realities the boundary conditions. If it's clothing, I'm looking at the seams. I'm figuring out, is this clothing that I can wear comfortably, or is it going to have a bunch of seams that like chafe against my skin? So it's like I'm looking at how these different dimensions weave together and how I can work more fully while I'm conscious and awake with my subtle form to the point to where we don't have to separate. It doesn't get, oh, well, you get dream time and I get the physical. No, we're supposed to be enmeshed and occurring simultaneously with ideally zero lag. But that's very different in terms of operating a physical suit because in a dream space, things happen in a very non-physical way. So to bring those two dimensions together in a way, it's bridging subconscious and conscious minds, and then using the the membrane or the interweaving layer, the interlocking layer of how the intersection of corridors. And I'm exploring ways to basically DJ the music from a place of respect, because I do believe that we have the ability to influence through quantum entanglement or whatever, that my subtle form is capable of giving me a lot of perceptual data about what's going on beyond just the physical moment in time that I'm in. And so it's important to find ways to harmonize that in a way that the suit, the body, feels peaceful and safe, ideally. So on that note, thank you very much for joining today. We're going to wrap up here. 1640 seconds, I think, is what we'll go full. So namaste and the catch. Thanks for watching. I will be ending the broadcast here at 1640 seconds. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,